had an orchiectomy. I'm definitely afraid of surgeries, and it's not something I wanted to do. Like, wanted to do? Like, for example, the vaginoplasty. I definitely wanted the vaginoplasty, but I was petrified. I've seen all these people with all these different types of disease, like infections, like compartmental syndrome, necrotizing fasciitis, or like Fournier's gangrene and things like this. Fournier's gangrene is this gangrene that sets into the groin, sometimes because of sebaceous oil in the pores clogs up, and then it turns gangrenous and it moves in. I've seen people die from this. Like, I've seen a lot of people die from infection, and the idea of having a vaginoplasty or anything just scares the living bejeebies out of me. And but anyway, so I got one. I got an orchiectomy, and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. It was. I've never had a surgery before, and like waking up from the gas, from the general anesthesia, I was vomiting, vomiting, vomiting. I've had the spins. Like, I had the spins days later. Uh, pain. The pain was incredible. The pain has subsided and gotten better with medications. Uh, like, it was hard. Like, it was really hard. Walking at one point, early on, was really, really hard. But I've kind of powered through, and I do not regret it. I don't regret it in any way, shape, or way, form. Fearful of doing it. I was very fearful of doing it. And I don't, like, it's only been a week. It's only been a week. And I kind of like, I mean, I was down for the count for the longest time. I just slept and slept and slept and slept and slept for the longest time. And then so much pain. I've been in so much pain. And it's all kind of panned out. But the difference between having, I call them undaries as opposed to ovaries, and the difference between having these things off versus on is instantaneously immense. Like, I'm no longer foggy headed anymore. Like, and I kind of tend to wonder, like were they supposed to be there? Like, when I look back and I think about all the problems that I was suffering from, fatigue, pain in my groin, pain like in my joints, and abdominal problems, like really bad abdominal problems, nausea, bloating, all kinds of things that have, like, in the last few days, largely subsided. Like, I've become clear-headed. And I think about, like, back when, like, was like this before I started hormone replacement therapy, and sometimes it was worse than it is now. It's just kind of all been variable, kind of like all over the place. I've been off. My hair is a bit greasy. Sorry. And I do not regret getting a bilateral orchiectomy. Any way, shape, or form. Any way, shape, or form. It's my quality of life has improved so much. I I hear people talk about how they sometimes they do it for aesthetics. To each of their own. I don't know. That's not me. I don't find it aesthetically pleasing to have or not have. Like, with the whole thing there, it's just not aesthetically pleasing to me at all. But I don't come over here on.
What?
I'm doing a vlog. Yeah, I wouldn't come over here. You're in the bath.
The bath's empty now.
I'll give it a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Cat shit over here again on the floor.
You know, I don't do vlogs anymore. So, like, it's just, I don't. My understanding too is that with the neuroscience behind it is like the reason why there's no ghost pain, because I haven't had any of the ghost limb, because it's essentially an amputation, is that the brain's not built that way because it's more like a female brain. And I think that's probably true. And not to mention too, your brain changes through the course of hormone replacement therapy. I don't like, even in the last week, my breasts have, I was never really, I'm not happy with the shape of my breasts, but they've gone from being kind of like less conical to being more of like rounder, a little rounder, a little fuller than they were before, which I'm immensely happy with. I think the shape of my face has actually changed in the last week, which I don't fully comprehend how or why. An pointed out to me, and I'm like, I think you're right. I think you're right. I was in so much pain. I was begging them to do this. I was begging them to do this. And I think the reason, I don't know why. I don't know why. I've never, usually they send it off to the lab and they have it studied. And I don't know what was going on. It seemed like there was some sort of like uh, issue with tucking. You know, you normally wear like a thong and then you tuck like that and then you go to work so that people don't clock you or give you a hard time or stare at you and like, why does this girl have that kind of thing? You know, because it's obvious, especially even when you're working with patients and you're having to hold people close to you and stuff. And I just like, oh, I'm apparently what may have happened is maybe some bacteria may have gotten into them in the same kind of way that like, and I was dealing with some UTIs in the same type of way that like cis women deal with like UTIs and maybe even problem in the ovaries. I call them undaries, you know, hence the name ovaries, undaries. I uh, I I wish I'd done it sooner. I wish I'd done it sooner. I wish I'd had the balls, not have balls. Yeah. And oh my God. I, the pain I was in has subsided. The brain fog I was in has subsided. The lack of energy I was in have subsided. I sleep better. I feel better. I don't feel as nauseated as I did before. I felt nauseous all the time. I was in pain all the time. Those organs were causing me pain all the time. I like sometimes I couldn't move certain ways because it hurt too much. I tried tucking, I tried not tucking. Nothing seemed to be a solution. I I think I had some curvature going on in my back, and I don't know that I have that anymore. Like my joints move with so much more ease. I don't know. I'm so much happier. I'm unbelievably so much happier. And one of my big fears about doing bottom surgery that removed the underareas at all was that, like, will I ever be able to come to a finish again? Because I'm a very pragmatic person, and you know, being happy in the bedroom is a key important aspect in anybody's happiness of anybody's life, right? Doesn't matter what your gender, what your sexuality is, how, I guess it matters how old you are, but you know, for the majority of people out there going to school and working and living life and stuff like that, you know, happiness in that department is largely essential, right? Otherwise, you rapidly become miserable and your quality of life declines and you become a very unhappy person, And so, does that part still work? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it never will again, but arousal's still there, but will it ever work? I don't know. I accept it. If it never works, I accept it, because it was just such a burden, like such an unbelievable burden. I was really pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, the team that was helping with to do this surgery, because I really, really needed it, because I was really, really in pain all the time. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And now I'm in pain. Like, walking too much is painful. I do baby steps still at this point, but I also don't have the pain in my air balls. I'm so much happier. I think after you've been doing hormone therapy for a while, it just comes to a point where, I don't know if it's different for everybody, but I think it just comes to a point where you need to do this. Things like wearing like a patch has become better for me. My light's gone funky. Things like wearing a patch on my skin, like if you were, for example, wear a Nicoderm patch on your arm, and it comes. I was getting eczema, and then like I was getting red spots, and if I go out in the cold, I would get like this horrible like eczema over my face. Today's one of the most coldest days of the year thus far, and I don't have that. I don't know how to explain these things. I would not wash my hair for a long period of time because the eczema on my scalp would drive me nuts, and not dealing with that anymore. I had to wait a really long time to get this surgery. I'd wait too long to get the surgery. And then on top of it, I had to travel outside of my city for like 45 minutes to have this surgery, which cost me $500, to get there and back. And just like, it was so complicated. It was so difficult. And I woke up vomiting, and the pain meds makes you horribly constipated. And just, I haven't stopped moving around in funny ways. I'm not walking properly yet. But, thus far, no problems. I just, I think back to like all bad breath. I don't have bad breath anymore. Like waking up like bloated, like horribly bloated. I don't wake up horribly bloated anymore. It could come back. I do have like some GERD, but, or like painful joints, brain fatigue, not being able to sleep, sleeping too sleeping too much, sleeping not enough, like having a completely irregular sleep pattern. I just I really have to wonder, like, were they meant to be there? Were they meant to be there? Because all these problems that I have happened, I've been dealing with like majority of my adult life, and now gone. I don't think it's a population thing. It might be specific to my demographic. It might just be specific to me. I don't know. But I'm so happy I did this. I'm so happy I did this. I wish I had the real thing, but I'm happy to be at this point thus far.